and welcome to ADHD Friendly. I am Patty. I am an ADHD coach, and I am here to help you thrive with ADHD. This is episode 189, and this week I'm celebrating my new bird feeders. Have I showed you my bird feeders? No, I'll show you. I've got a picture. So if you're listening to this, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel to see the visuals I'll be sharing. I'm also going to update my spending this week. Little advanced warning, it does have to do with the birds. And I'm going to share a tip related to birds that can make your ADHD brain a little calmer. And then my product of the week is a Costco item I'm going to highlight. And then we're going to dive into our main topic, which is how to create your summer success formula with ADHD. We're going to plan for some fun in the sun, which we are not dressed for today. It is unusually cool in this. We're recording this late May. Yes. I know this comes out in June, but it's rainy and cool. I think the high today is 52, which, guys, I gotta say, makes me really happy. Like I am not complaining one iota. I love it. But we're not exactly dressed for a summer episode, but that is our topic today because summers are coming. So if you're looking for more support for your brain, I invite you to check out my ADHD-Friendly membership at ADHD-Friendly.com. But let's dive in and make this day and this week a little more ADHD-friendly. So my celebration, oh my gosh, I am so into this. So I have wanted bird feeders for a while. Like everything, I've had a few iterations that haven't, really gone well. And then there was a recommendation not to feed birds for a while because of different diseases were being spread among the birds. So I was like, okay, good. Then I just can't, instead of I've been meaning to. Kind of gave myself a little pass for a while. But this year I was like, I want to have a bird feeder. I want to experience the birds. So I have like a note and I'm like, what did I write here? Sorry, this happens. I write notes to support my future self. And then I was like, what did I mean by that? So I have set up my bird feeders and I got a pole to hang them from. I got a hummingbird feeder and a small bird like finches size chickadees feeders. I'm holding them up. Look at the ducks that came and hung out in my yard. I'm like, I don't know. Look at all of my dandelions as well.
We have a lot of bios.
Oh my gosh, they're all over. But oh my gosh, you guys, I am loving it. I sit out on my porch and I just watch them and listen to them, and they just make me so stinking happy. So I bought the 2 bird feeders and the pole were $74, but the return priceless. Look at that cardinal looking at me.
Gorgeous.
Right? And so I printed out a map of all the different backyard birds of Illinois.
I love that.
And I'm circling them. I have them in a little sheet protector, and I am circling them as I see them. And it is just bringing me so much joy. So that is my celebration that I've got it set up. I'm out there enjoying it. Oh, and here's one more. I never saw a bird like this. This reminded me of the Hunger Games. I'm like, what is that? I don't know. I haven't had a chance to investigate if it's an Illinois-based bird. I swear I've never seen this before. It is a blackbird. It's like a red-winged blackbird or something like that.
That's cool.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes.
And that's on a little bird bath that was my mom's that I inherited. And it's made it with me, in the moving truck. Yeah. And it's the first time I've set it up intentionally, really put it somewhere where I can actually keep up with filling it with water. And it's just bringing me so much joy. It's right below the bird feeders, or to the sides. The seed doesn't go in it, but they can go from the water to the feeder. And it's just so stinking satisfying. It really is. That's going to tie to my tip. But I have one other quick celebration. And this is from an email I got from a friend of ADHD Friendly, who is somebody that subscribes to the podcast, the YouTube channel. And they let me know that they ordered my Create an ADHD Friendly Personal Owner's Manual book through Amazon, but that they had so much difficulty. Apparently they ordered it like a couple of months ago and never got it. And it ended up being canceled. And she took the time to let me know of the difficulties that she had with getting it delivered, and that she's going to try again from my website. So that might be the best way if you were looking. She's like, I wanted you to know in case other people had this experience, and they, perhaps they have. She's the first person that took the time to write to me. So I really wanted to celebrate that. Felt like such a win. So thank you so much again for reaching out to me to let me know of your experience. It was so kind of you to take the time to let me know what was happening. And a lot of it's frustrating because it's out of my control. Like, I literally have 2 copies of the book. One of them is a mistake copy that when I got it physically printed, I think I told everybody it was printed backwards where the pages were aligned wrong. And then I have one correct copy that I ordered because I wanted to see how long it took compared ordering it from Amazon versus ordering it from my site. And my problem with the Amazon site is it becomes unavailable. It's only available through third party. It's constantly changing how it's listed, and I have nothing to do with it. I don't understand it. So it is for sale for the same price on my website because Amazon required me to sell it for the same price on my website. But ADHD-friendly.com, if you go to the shop, you can get it there. So now for my product of the week. I don't know if you've tried these. These are a Kirkland brand. So it's Costco's in-house brand. Kirkland signature nut bars with cocoa drizzle and sea salt. Okay, I have purchased these before. I haven't gotten them in a while. And I wanted just something I could snack on if I didn't have time, if I was hungry in between clients, something that really simple and easy. It has almonds, cashews, pecans. It has a layer of chocolate behind, like dark chocolate. It is delicious. It is 200 calories, 15 grams of fat, and I wanted to see the added sugar. Total sugar's 6, which includes 4 grams of added sugar. So not a lot of sugar. But it is very satisfying, and that's what I'm always looking for. I love the dark chocolate. I love the nuts. If I eat one of these, I am satisfied. It's like the idea of a Snickers bar, if you will, without all of the sugar thrown into it, where it does satisfy and it leaves me not craving additional snacks. So I find this a very satisfying snack. So I wanted to share. It's sold at Costco. A box of 30 of these guys is $17.99. Which I think is a fair price for what you're getting. So that's just my experience. If that's something that you haven't tried, but it interests you, I just share my experience. And if you have your own experience with them, this is episode 189. I'd love to hear. I always say, like, I don't know if it works for everybody, but I do find them very yummy. All right, so now for a tip for this week. And the tip is tied back to birds, and it's soothe your brain with bird songs. I thought this was so interesting. So my husband actually, because I've been spending so much time sitting out on the porch watching the birds, that he sent me an article he came across from National Geographic that shared research that says paying attention to the chirps, whistles, and calls of birds is restorative to our brains. And here's why. So this was Cindy France, the chair of psychology at Oberlin College. Was quoted in this article. She said, as social creatures, we are hardwired to want to connect to things. And the parts of our brain that we use to form relationships with people also help us build our bonds with nature. And birds, of course, are included in that. And studies have shown that just listening to birds singing can ease symptoms of anxiety and depression. I swear I can feel myself calming down. It's just such a sense of calm and ease, and you can hear the different birds calling back and forth. I love watching the bird feeder because inevitably, like, a male finch will come and land, and then the female finch will come a little bit after, and they'll kind of go in these, I call them like lining up to eat, where they'll start at one tree further away, and then they'll come to a closer tree, and then they'll come to the bird feeder, and then they'll go back to the tree, and then they'll fly back away. And there's almost like this pattern that they'll get into. So brighter, warmer days are here. You too can get a mental health boost just from listening to birds, and it's scientifically shown to be a balm for your brain. I love that. So whether you just go for a walk somewhere where there's some trees that birds can be, they did say that actual bird sounds are like recorded bird sounds can work, but that hearing them in nature is the biggest impact, the positive impact for your brain. So I thought that was really well timed along with my bird feeder celebration. I have to say, I have to fill it like every 3 days. So far, it's very sparkly because I feel like if I'm not feeding it, they're not going to have food.
Yeah.
But surely they've done just fine up until now. But it is interesting how much they're eating. I'm like, what were they doing? Where were they going before this?
It's like before all this.
And if I'm interrupting some kind of natural balance, maybe don't tell me, because I really am enjoying.
This is making me happy.
It's making me. I'm not trying to turn them into pets. I'm not trying to do anything. I just like watching them. All right. So now for our main topic for this episode, your summer success formula, so your ADHD summer success formula. So summer is here, may not feel like it depending on where you are in the country, but whether you love the warm and even hot. I had clients yesterday from North Carolina, and they were so hot. It was like 90.
Ugh.
And mind you, we're still in May, the end of May as we're recording
Yeah,
this.
summer hasn't even really hit yet.
No. And I was just like, oh, no, thank you. I don't miss that at all. But regardless, if you love them or you don't so much like me, I have some tips to create a formula for success for the summer season. So remember, summer has lots of ways to untether our time. So if you have kiddos, their routine is typically different. Even if they're in a similar like camp or summer school experience, it's probably a different schedule, different maybe commute, different routines for pickup and drop off. All of that throws us off of routines that support our brains. So the first tip is to create anchors to pin down your time. Without the structure, we tend to flounder. We really struggle to put that structure in place ourselves. It is just not something that we are very good at. We need the urgency. We need the external structure to help us navigate. And when we have to put it in place ourselves, it's hard to do. So that's the first thing to do, is to create some just basic anchors. And by that, I mean, look at what anchors would work for you. So not so much that you feel restricted, but enough that it does hold some rails around your time. So maybe it's just choosing a consistent bed and wake up time. And that's it, because it's lighter in the summertime. The kids don't have to get up in the morning. Maybe you sleep in a little bit longer, depending on your schedule. We tend to be very loose. It can feel very indulgent, like, oh, I don't have to, but that can really throw off the rest of the day. We have a lot of experience with my clients who really struggle if their mornings are later. They're starting later because they stayed up late and they slept in later. And it just tends to drain the energy throughout the day. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't have time for my workout, or I didn't have time to eat breakfast because I slept in. Those little changes can really derail the rest of your day. So just set regular sleep schedules, because these are essential to support our brain every single day. So maybe you're allowing yourself to stay up an hour later and sleep in an hour longer, but adjust everything accordingly.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, well, I'll just stay up until 1 and I'll try to get up at 9. If your schedule's flexible and you can make that consistent, that could be workable. But the key here is set regular bed and wake times. And really, if you have kiddos, it's going to make your summer much more enjoyable if you keep them to a general sleep and wake time. Eat meals at regular times. So that's the other anchor. So if all you do is set sleep and wake times, fabulous. If you want to add one more layer to that, pin down your meals. So it might be, we eat at this time, we have lunch at this time, and we're having dinner at this time. Or maybe you're just going to pick one, like we will have dinner every day at blank. Do what works for you, but pin down bed, wake, and look at meal times as there's just those basic anchors to be enough to support you to have the summer of your dreams. If we don't have any of them, we tend to really, like, the end of the summer, we'll be here and be like, oh my gosh, that was a slog. I didn't get anything done. So set those minimal anchors to your time to make it possible to do the things that you want to have in your summertime. Number 2, set some summer goals. So what do you want to do with the time you have? You've pinned down a little bit of time anchoring it. What do you want from the summer of 2025? So maybe you want to spend some time organizing your house or making family time a priority. Maybe you want to, I remember every summer when my kids were little, we went to a different library every week. We lived in Wake County in North Carolina, where Raleigh is located, and there was just a ton of libraries. And so Wednesday was library day. And it's funny, Wednesday is still my library day. We always, got into this routine of returning books, checking out new books. It was just part of what we did. And we didn't have a lot of money to spend on different things. I was staying home with them, so I wasn't bringing in a lot of money on my own. And libraries were like an exciting outing to the kids that they always look forward to. So it was a fun, inexpensive thing that we could do to create some structure to our time. Maybe you want to plan some weekend getaways or just time to recharge, whatever it is. Identify what your goals are so that you and others in your household. So if you're living with other people in your family or friends or whatever your living situation is, identify what your goals are, pin them down, write them out so that everybody remembers what the goals are. And those visual prompts will remind you of your intentions so you have a better chance of sticking with it and hitting them. Number 3, update your summer supplies.
Ooh.
So I don't know what you think of when you think of summer supplies, but I tend to think of
SPF.
Yeah, sunblock, absolutely. So most people don't realize that sunblock expires.
Yes.
I realized after moving here, I can't leave my sunblock in the garage
Oh, yeah.
because the garage froze over the winter and
Sure
it
did.
changed the consistency and it was all like cottage cheese and
Yeah.
greasy. It was weird.
You're like, nope.
Yep. So check your sunblock, make sure it hasn't expired. Maybe you need some bug spray if you're
Yeah.
going to be outside with the mosquitoes. Snacks for summertime, easy grabbing, maybe popsicles if you or your
Smart.
kids are into that. Band-aids. You always need band-aids, whether it's you
Yeah.
skinning your knees, getting down in the garden and, kneeling on something that cuts your leg or something, or the kiddos definitely need band-aids. Maybe a little aloe. I've got a sunburn already. I think I mentioned this when I planted my garden. I finally started peeling from it. I'm like, yeah, I definitely needed my aloe. So
Oh, yeah,
having
we
aloe on hand.
had that like 80 degrees.
Yeah, it was crazy. We had this little burst of like actual summer, and now
Yeah.
it's like, where did that go?
Right.
I'm
It's
like, I'm
gone.
covering my poor lemon tree to make sure it doesn't get damaged from the cold. A sun hat to protect your
Yes.
skin.
Mhm.
Do a bathing suit that fits.
Haven't gone through those
Not
yet.
Not fun.
Not yet.
Do you need any shorts, tees, shoes? If your kids have grown, they may not fit into things from last year. If what you have just didn't really work for you last year, maybe it's really not working for you this year. So identifying what you need so you can have a list to get what you do need to have what you are going to want to be able to thrive and have a great summer. I've ordered a few pairs of shorts. That's going to be on my list for this upcoming week, for what I purchased because it was after I planned for this. So I tend to do because I always record this on Wednesday. So I tend to do everything through Tuesday. So it'll be on next week's list, but I did order some shorts. I'm going to lean into the shorts this summer because when I was out there gardening, I was so stinking hot and I realized I need some shorts. So more to come on that later. Number 4, create a home for your summer necessities. So you've got all these summer things. Where do they live? Especially if these are things that are only out in summertime, like your sunblock, your bug spray, sunglasses, things that maybe you aren't using throughout the year. Have baskets or storage bins to store your summer supplies. Make sure everybody knows where they are and label them. And learn from me, don't keep them in the garage or somewhere because I just was like, awesome. And then I never thought about bringing them in over the winter and they did not stand out. And then label your containers. So especially if they're in something you can't see into or it has a lid, label it so everybody can find what they need. If you have little kiddos who have different like sunglasses and sun hats or ball caps or whatever, maybe everybody gets their own bin with their name on it so they can put it back. But make it easy to find what everybody needs. And then the last tip is to ask for help where you need it. So if the unstructured schedule of summer is something you struggle with, if you love the idea, but really the implementation becomes a pattern that you struggle navigating, maybe consider looking into coaching to have somebody support you to put those structured pieces in place and develop strategies to support you to implement the things you want to get done. Maybe you look at finding an accountability partner, somebody that can partner with you. Like, this is my goal this summer. This is what I want to have by the end of the summer. Can we check in once a week and see how we're doing? Especially if that other person has something they want to work on, whether it's the same thing or something else, it just holds you both accountable to each other to stay motivated and on track. Or perhaps look for body doubles, people that can be in your space. They don't have to be doing the same thing as you. They're doing their thing, but them being there helps you. almost everybody in my family needs body doubles to do the things that they're not interested in.
Yeah.
So if it's, I want to change my sheets every week, if somebody else is sitting in the room talking to me, like I can absolutely do it.
Yeah.
But if I have to go in there and do it on my own, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll do it later. I just think about it, but implementing is so hard. So find things that other people can body double with you. And I'll just get on a call sometimes. I'm like, okay, I don't feel like doing this, especially if there's like a lot of laundry, like a couple of loads. I'll get on a call and just fold and put everything away while I'm talking, because I don't care
Yeah.
that I'm doing that anymore, because I'm focused. I don't have to really focus on the laundry. I can have a conversation and just do that. So this summer is full of potential. It's just laid out in front of us. Find ways to fill those 3 fun-filled months and warmer days with ADHD-friendly structure that works for you, so that your summer success formula is supporting you to thrive over the summer months, so that when the cool temps come in the fall,
Yeah.
I was like last night going, oh, sweater weather. I can't wait for sweater weather. And yet here I am with sweater weather. But I want you at the end of the summer to be able to celebrate the amazing summer of 2025 just by doing some things to make it more friendly for your brain. All right. Last but not least, the book of the week. This book is called The Bright Years. It is by Sarah Damoff. I don't know. Let's see. The New York Times had a quote from an author, Tawari Jones, said, a heartbreaker and a heart opener at once. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. This came out recently. It just came out April 22nd. So it's a new book. I'm going to read you the summary very quickly, and then I'll give you my notes. So this is about Ryan and Lillian Bright, who are deeply in love, recently married, and they're now parents to a baby girl, Georgette. But Lillian has a son that she hasn't told Ryan about. And Ryan has an alcohol addiction he hasn't told Lillian about.
Whoa.
So Georgette comes of age watching their marriage rise and fall. Georgette's the little girl.
Yeah.
This is told from the 3 points of view of those family members. And The Bright Years is a tender, true-to-life novel that explores the impact of each generation in a family torn apart by tragedy, but over time is restored by the power of grace and love. It was very good. It was very easy to get into.
Yeah.
It kind of grabs you right from the beginning. It's told over 4 generations, so this is now my comment. The story is about how alcoholism impacts family members over generations, and I found it very moving, both from the father's point of view, he was the one with alcoholism, as he struggled with alcoholism, to each of the family members' reactions to it and how they dealt with it. I was sorry for the story to end. I've shared, I have alcoholism in my family, and so it is often very hard for me to read these kinds of stories, but I did find it really interesting how they highlighted how it impacted different members of the family in very different ways. And some members have much more mindsets of, you just need to get it together, or we're not important enough for you to stop drinking, to others really understanding the disease of it. It was very interesting. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you, The Bright Years is a book I would recommend. And now from a quote of the week, this is from F. Scott Fitzgerald. Little F. Scotty. He says, and so with the sunshine and the great bursts of leaves on the trees, I had that familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer. For our summer focus to make your own ADHD summer success formula. A couple of snacks, some sunblock to protect your skin from the sun, and tethers to your time. Basic things just to set you up for a fantastic summer. That's it for this episode. Until next time, tally ho.